Gurubhyo Namaha. I'm speaking about this introduction to Mahari Ayurveda in November 2021 in the middle of COVID pandemic. It is almost 2 years since the pandemic began and it is continuing. During this pandemic, we introduced Ayurveda in a few villages, but we have begun introducing it in more rural and urban places. So, giving this talk is the need of the time to bring a clear understanding of the fundamentals of Mahari Ayurveda. I began practicing Ayurveda, integrating it with allopathy from 1988 onwards and authored several books. What I will do now is bringing this knowledge in a very simple and basic way so that everyone can understand, even children aged 12 years or so, and people who are not very highly educated, even with high school education or less, should be able to understand this profound knowledge. Ayurveda is consciousness-based medicine. It is timeless, coming from Veda, and it is more than medicine. It is the complete science of entire span of life, including birth, existence, death, and after death. It is the mother of all forms of medicine that have come in the last few hundred years, including allopathy. It is the best medicine for prevention of all disease and hence should be used every day in one's life. This level of prevention is essential to deal with maintaining the health of 1.4 billion people, out of which 70 to 80% are living in villages. It has no side effects. Because of this, it doesn't cause new disease as in allopathy and other chemical-based medicine. There is so much of knowledge and simple practices in Ayurveda which do not need medicine. These include the daily and seasonal routine and simple guidelines for food and herbs to bring purification and balance in a natural way. Our goal is to bring prevention in all these rural communities and help the villagers to develop awareness for Ayurvedic food and grow their own herbs in their gardens for everyday use. Besides, we will also be helping farmers to focus on horticulture of many herbs and spices to improve their economy and health of the nation. Many Adivasis, or the tribal people, are familiar with wild Ayurvedic herbs and they could benefit immensely from this knowledge and involvement in the Vedic Organic agriculture. Since Mahari Ayurveda is consciousness medicine, I will speak about the need of practicing Transcendental Meditation and connecting to the source of your pure consciousness or Atma. This not only helps with the healing but prevents a lot of disease. Finally, Ayurveda is not just for preventing and treating disease, but it is mainly very important to gain rapid evolution and enlightenment. Ayurvedo Amritanam, which means Ayurveda is for immortality. Further, one should understand that Ayurveda has survived for thousands of years and hence it is time tested. Individual experience of well-being and rise in sattva are the hallmarks of this eternal science. Further, there is no other medicine which raises the sattva in one's physiology, mind and intellect like Ayurveda. Finally, before I move further, I would like to say that Ayurveda is compatible with allopathy and other forms of medicine, so it can be used along with other forms of treatment. Now let's begin. Ayurveda is referred to as ancient medicine, but in fact it is a new paradigm for the total health care. A new paradigm which is timeless. But because of the various invasions and so many things that have happened historically, it lost its firm footing and Ayurveda needed revival. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi Ji began this revival and completed it in 1985. In his honor, it has been called Maharishi Ayurveda, the complete revival of the total knowledge about life and the laws of nature that govern the living, and the understanding of this truth that Ayurveda is actually a consciousness-based medicine. According to Ayurveda, total health care is complete health care. It is physical, mental, emotional, behavioral, environmental, and spiritual. It is important to understand here that medicine alone is too superficial to influence all the innumerable values that constitute the structure of life and its evolution. One needs a holistic approach. And what is this holistic approach? It takes into consideration everything that life is made of, including the cosmic counterparts and the individual. Now, how does Ayurveda define a healthy individual? A healthy individual is one whose doshas are in balance, whose digestion is good, whose dhatus or tissues are functioning normally, whose malas are in balance, whose self, mind and senses remain full of bliss, then this person is called a healthy individual. And this is according to Sushrut Samhita. Next, let us look at the cause of disease according to Ayurveda. The fundamental cause of disease is disruption in the flow of inner intelligence. In other words, it is because of the mistake of the intellect, because intellect and intelligence are there at the cellular level, and also the discrimination power which we call as buddhi. This mistake of the intellect is called pragya aparadha. This mistake of here the primary cause or the pragya aparadha is forgetting our true nature. And what is our true nature? That we have our source in pure consciousness and our whole connectedness is to the whole of life. And the next pragyaparad is violations of the natural law or violations of the Prakriti Dharma, which leads to discomfort and disease at all levels of health. Ayurveda reminds us again and again that we are the nature itself and we are those natural laws. And beyond the nature and the natural laws, we are the pure consciousness. Next, on a superficial level, the cause of disease is accumulation of toxins, which is referred to as ama, accumulation of free radicals in the physiology, and these cause symptoms. Now let us look at the three main organizing principles of nature in Ayurveda. Now these are referred to as Vata, Pitta and Kapa. Again, this Vata, Pitta and Kapa, the three main organizing principles of nature, are present in all animate and inanimate creations. They govern the flow of the inner intelligence. They regulate all the different functions of our mind as well as our bodies. Now let's look at Vata briefly. Vata is the only moving principle. It governs respiration, circulation, elimination, and neuromuscular activities. Being the moving principle, it governs the quick and the lively activities of our minds and five senses. Now let's look at Pitta. This is the only hot principle. Again, this is the only hot principle. It manages digestion and metabolism. Being a hot principle, it keeps the body heat in balance. It regulates hunger and thirst. And it is the governing principle behind sharp decision making, creative intelligence, and warm feelings of joy and contentment. Let's look at Kapa briefly. It is responsible for solid body structure and fluid balance. Again, it is responsible for solid body structure and fluid balance. It gives potency, solidity, and strength to the body. Further, it keeps all joints smooth and well lubricated. This Kapa principle is found in a sweet, steady, and affectionate heart. It is the principle supporting forgiveness and courage in a person. Here, it is important to understand that these three doshas are present in every person. One may be predominant compared to the other two, but the three doshas are present in everyone. When one is more predominating, then we refer to that individual as having Vata dosha or the Vata Constitution. Now let's look at the characteristics of this Vata Constitution, or the one where Vata is more predominant. When this Vata dosha is in balance, then one is vibrant and lively. One has a clear and alert mind. One is flexible and resilient. One is imaginative and sensitive. One is cheerful and optimistic and has regular habits. But when there is an imbalance in this dosha, then it is an imbalance in the physiology of the person, which includes the mind, body, emotions, intellect, behavior, environment, and consciousness. So you see this imbalance pervading all of these areas. So then this individual becomes restless and unsettled. The sleep is disturbed and has light sleep. The energy is disturbed and gets easily fatigued. Elimination is disturbed and becomes constipated. Mind loses its cheerfulness and optimism and becomes anxious and worried. The regular habits become irregular in eating, irregular in sleeping, irregular with work, and this person with imbalance in this dosha can lose weight and become underweight. This is because Vata people are already thin. Now, what are the causes for Vata imbalance? It is irregular routine. That is why in Ayurveda it is always emphasized to have a good daily routine. Excessive mental work and working up under pressure. Staying up late and not following the rules of Ayurveda of sleeping and rising. Traveling and sometimes excessive traveling. Cold and dry weather as in autumn and winter. And if one has gone through an accident or injury or an illness, then this dosha is easily disturbed. Now let's look at the characteristics of the Pitta dosha, or the one who has the predominance of Pitta. When Pitta is in balance, then this person is warm, loving, and contented. This balanced Pitta individual is very efficient in activity, articulate and precise in speech, and has a sharp intellect. He or she enjoys strong digestion and enjoys meeting challenges. They certainly don't like a dull life. Now, when this Pitta is in imbalance, then this individual experiences skin rashes or skin disease, premature graying of the hair or thinning of hair, accumulates excessive heat in the body and finds hot weather unbearable, becomes irritable and impatient in the mind, can become demanding and critical, and can develop digestive problems, especially hyperacidity and other inflammatory problems in the digestive tract. Now, what are the causes for this Pitta imbalance? It is exposure to excessive heat or exposure to the sun, or not being careful during the hot weather. Excessive heat can be developed also through wrong foods, wrong routine, and so many other things. Excessive activity also causes this Pitta imbalance. Dealing with stressful deadlines in the work, a lot of time pressure, improper diet, eating very hot and spicy foods, skipping meals, and also indulging with alcohol and smoking. These are just some of the things. Now let us look at the characteristics of the Kapa. Those who have the Kapa predominance, they have large bone structure and dominance. They have large bone structure and larger build compared to the Pitta, who are medium built, and the Vata, who are thin built. So when in balance, this Kapha individual is strong and full of vitality. He has solid, powerful build and natural resistance to weight problems, has good memory and long memory. This balanced Kapha is affectionate, forgiving, and full of dignity and courage. Now what happens when this Kapha individual becomes imbalanced? One becomes dull and lethargic, develops oily skin, and there is congestion. This congestion can be seen in the respiratory system, as in sinuses, nose, or in the lungs, or in the joints, or anywhere. One becomes intolerant of cold and the digestion becomes slow. One who is affectionate and forgiving in balance becomes possessive and emotional when imbalanced, and his inability to accept change. Now, what are the causes for Kapha imbalance? When the weather is cold and wet, like in springtime, and also in the rainy season, and also in the winter when it is snowing. Overeating and oversleeping, insufficient exercise, eating wrong foods, too many sweets and oily foods, and not having enough variety in life which is inspiring. Now I have given a brief synopsis of the scenario of the Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and how these imbalances can cause discomfort and disease. And so our goal is to bring balance to the doshas. What I want to say is, Mahari Ayurveda offers real solutions and not just hope. The treatment model includes many approaches, and these create balancing, detoxing, and rejuvenation all in one stroke. Again, the treatment approaches create balancing, detoxing, and rejuvenation all in one stroke. There are specific Ayurveda diet prescribed, specific spices, herbal preparations, daily and seasonal routines, rejuvenation programs, and importantly also Transcendental Meditation. The Ayurveda treatments are meant to bring deeper healing, remove the blocks or obstructions in the flow of the biological inner intelligence, bring back the memory and proper functioning in each and every cell in your physiology. This is the smriti of well-being. Removing the blocks or obstructions and bringing back this memory of well-being is restoration of this pragya, correction of this mistake of the intellect. Further, the Ayurveda therapies purify the physiology and refine the nervous system. They unfold the experience of higher states of health and consciousness. There are many rejuvenation treatments prescribed in Ayurveda. which are referred to as Panchakarma, and I will talk about it in another talk in the future. I will briefly mention Transcendental Meditation here, which is one of the important recommendations in Mahari Ayurveda. TM is simple, natural, effortless procedure whereby mind easily and naturally arrives at the source of thought. This source of thought is the transcendental consciousness, and it is the source of all creative processes. So during the practice, the individual awareness settles down and one experiences a unique state of restful alertness. TM is practiced for 15 to 20 minutes in the mornings and the evenings while sitting comfortable with eyes closed. The benefits of TM for health are so many. First of all, it is a technology of consciousness, which is the most basic element of life, and it is the home of all the laws of nature or the Prakriti Dharma. Secondly, it eliminates the most basic cause of stress and strain, which is continuously disturbing these doshas. Thirdly, it brings increase in the creativity and the intelligence. And the marvel of TM is that both the blossoming of creativity and dissolution of stress and strain are achieved in one stroke. Nowadays, the work is very routine in most of the workplaces. When one's work becomes just purely routine, then it does not provide an opportunity for the full expansion of creative intelligence. This in turn causes frustration and becomes the basis of all discomfort, disease, and antisocial behavior. This is important for the students and for the people working in the corporate environment and even the householders. So here, the daily opportunity for the individual's awareness to go beyond boundaries through TM neutralizes this rigidity caused by the boundaries of the daily routine. This is very important to understand, that one needs to go beyond the boundaries of the daily routine and experience the unboundedness. It is only then one experiences health, relaxation, and rejuvenation. Further, with TM, there has been a lot of research done. Over 500 studies have been published. There is reversal of the aging process, and then this unique state of deep rest promotes orderliness in physiological functioning by eliminating stress. In the physiology, one has seen improved health of the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, respiratory system, endocrine system, immune system, increased resistance to disease, improved health of the musculoskeletal system, improved health of the digestive system, better health habits are fostered, and in general there is improvement in the general health overall. Now, in terms of mental health, one sees optimized brain functioning. There is increased intelligence, the learning ability improves, and intellectual performance improves. There is increased creativity, so that one is not bored in life, increased energy and vitality so that one can perform more, reduction of negative personality and increased in positive attitude. There is growth of ideal social behavior both for the individual, for the families, and also for the communities. And finally, there is increased integration of the heart and the mind, integration of the personality, and then the growth of the higher states of consciousness. Now to this TM we add all the other modalities for the treatment, including the diet, the herbs or the medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and then the purification and balancing procedures and techniques. So finally, I want to say that Ayurveda should be used by everyone in each household. In this Sanatana Dharma, a lot of the principles of daily routines, seasonal routines, the behavior or the Acharya Rasayanas, the diet, and many food preparations all are aligned to this great science which we call Ayurveda. Once one understands this knowledge and then implements it on an everyday basis, then it becomes a part of you, because Ayurveda is experiential. When you feel the health, you feel that well-being in your body, you feel that well-being in your mind, in your emotions, in your intellect, in your behavior, and in your environment, and in your consciousness. It is experiential. It is not just taking some pill. And because it is experiential, and because it increases the sattva, and because you feel more happiness inside and more health, then you want to continue with Ayurveda. So it must be introduced to everyone, and now we want to start introducing it to the pregnant women and the children and the young mothers in the phase 1, and then moving it forward. Jai Gurudev. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.